The sun reflected off the metal hull of Earth's orbital defense station as Captain Samuel Wright stared at the holographic display. The red dots indicating Cadraxian ships moved closer to Mars, where humanity's largest off-world colony housed nearly 10,000 people. "They're not slowing down," said Lieutenant Emma Boyd, her voice tight with tension. Samuel nodded gravely. Humanity had only discovered the vast Cadraxian Empire 3 months ago. The aliens ruled most of the known galaxy with an iron grip, conquering civilizations for thousands of years. Earth was just the newest world to catch their attention. "Open a channel," Samuel ordered. "All frequencies." "Channel open, sir." Samuel straightened his uniform and spoke clearly. "Cadraxian vessels, this is Captain Samuel Wright of the Earth Defense Force. You are approaching a peaceful human settlement. Please state your intentions." The screen flickered, revealing a tall reptilian figure with iridescent scales and 4 yellow eyes. The universal translator converted its hissing speech to English. "Primitive species. I am Commander Vex Thal of the glorious Cadraxian Empire. Your planet has been selected for integration. That settlement is unauthorized. We will remove it as demonstration." Samuel's heart raced. "Commander, there are families on that outpost. Children. We've made no hostile actions toward your empire. Please reconsider." The alien made a sound like grinding metal, apparently laughter. "Begging already. Your species is weaker than most. Mars belongs to the Empire now. All planets in this system do." The communication cut off. Samuel slammed his fist against the console. "Get me Admiral Carter. Now." Minutes later, Diane Carter's stern face appeared on the screen. At 62, the Admiral had led Earth's United Defense Forces for a decade, preparing humanity for the stars and the dangers they might hold. "Right. Status report. Admiral, the Cadraxians are moving on Mars. They've rejected communication and—" His voice trailed off as he watched the screen. The 5 alien ships surrounded the Mars colony and began firing green energy beams. Emma gasped as the colony's protective dome shattered. The atmosphere vented into space, buildings collapsed, and thousands of lives ended in seconds. "They just destroyed Olympus Base," Samuel said, his voice hollow. "Everyone's gone." Admiral Carter's expression hardened. "Get back to Earth immediately, Captain. The Security Council is assembling." 12 hours later, Samuel stood in the United Earth headquarters in Geneva. Leaders from every nation gathered around a massive table, faces grim. Admiral Carter pointed to a projection showing the Cadraxian fleet, now 50 ships strong, approaching Earth's orbit. "They consider this a simple conquest," she explained. "Based on their transmissions, they've conquered over 200 civilizations. None have successfully resisted." President Laura Vega stood. "Can we fight them?" "We must," General Alan Parker replied, "but not conventionally. Our studies of their previous conquests show they expect submission. They're unprepared for a species willing to fight to extinction." "The project?" asked the Chinese premier. Admiral Carter nodded. "It's time. We've hidden our true capabilities, kept our advanced weapon systems off their scans. They think we're centuries behind them technologically." The room fell silent as a message appeared on the main screen. An ultimatum from the Cadraxian Emperor himself. "Submit or be destroyed." President Vega drafted the response personally. Samuel watched as she typed 6 simple sentences. "We tried to warn you. We asked for peace. You showed us slaughter instead. Remember in your final moments that you chose this path. Your empire ends here. Humanity will not fall." As the message transmitted, Samuel looked at Admiral Carter. "Will it be enough?" She activated a hidden console, revealing Earth's true defenses, thousands of stealth satellites, automated battle stations, and technologies the public had never seen. "They've ruled for millennia," she said quietly. "They've forgotten what it means to fight for survival. But we haven't. They think they're facing primitive humans. They're about to meet a species that prepared for this moment since we first looked to the stars. The Cadraxian fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation. 100 warships arranged in the imperial conquest pattern that had broken the will of countless civilizations. Their golden hulls gleamed in the sunlight as they positioned themselves between Earth and the Moon. Commander Eric Blackwell watched from the bridge of the EDS Defiant, one of only 12 Earth ships visible to the enemy scanners. His vessel looked small and primitive compared to the massive alien dreadnoughts. "Their commander is hailing us," said Communications Officer Ryan Bell. Eric nodded. "Put them through." The alien face that appeared on screen was different from the one that had ordered the Mars colony destroyed. This one had elaborate markings on its scales, denoting high rank. "I am High Admiral Zex Kalahar of the Eternal Cadraxian Empire," the creature announced. "Your pathetic defense insults us. Surrender your world or face extinction." Eric smiled slightly. "This is Commander Blackwell. We respectfully decline your offer." The alien's 4 eyes blinked in confusion. According to Imperial records, primitive species always begged for mercy when faced with the full might of a Cadraxian armada. "You have 12 obsolete vessels. We have 100 warships that have conquered galaxies. Your resistance is illogical." "Maybe so," Eric replied. "But humans aren't always logical." He cut the transmission and turned to his tactical officer. "Begin Operation Hornet's Nest." Across Earth's orbit, Lieutenant Catherine Pierce sat in a small stealth shuttle, completely invisible to Cadraxian sensors. Her fingers flew across the computer terminal as she completed her work. "The virus is ready," she reported to her team. "Uploading to all Cadraxian communication networks." Now, in space, the Cadraxian ships began their advance. Their sensors showed only 12 Earth vessels and some primitive orbital platforms. Their tactical computers predicted total victory within 17 minutes. They didn't detect the 300 stealth satellites activating around them. They didn't notice the virus infiltrating their shield systems. They had no idea that humans had been studying their technology since discovering their first scout ship 5 years ago. "All ships, execute Phase 1, ordered Eric. The 12 visible Earth ships scattered in seemingly random directions. The Cadraxians interpreted this as panic, not strategy. They focused their weapons on the largest Earth vessel. That's when Catherine's virus activated. Shield generators across 20 Cadraxian warships flickered and failed. At the same moment, the stealth satellites revealed themselves, firing concentrated electromagnetic pulses that disabled Cadraxian targeting systems. "What is happening?" demanded High Admiral Zex Kalahar as his flagship's systems flashed warning signals. His tactical officers stared in disbelief. "Impossible. Their technology is far more advanced than our scans indicated." From hidden hangars on the Moon, 200 Earth fighters launched, streaking toward the disorganized Cadraxian fleet. Unlike the rigid formation fighting the aliens expected, these fighters moved unpredictably, targeting engines and weapons with surgical precision. Eric watched as the first Cadraxian dreadnought, a vessel that had destroyed civilizations, fell to a coordinated attack from fighters 100th its size. "They're trying to regroup," reported Tactical Officer Natalie Grant. "Their formation is breaking." In her stealth shuttle, Catherine smiled as her monitors showed the virus spreading from ship to ship through the Cadraxian network. "Their communication systems are compromised. They can't coordinate their defense." The Cadraxians had expected an easy conquest. Instead, they found themselves fighting an enemy that didn't follow any known rules of engagement. Human ships attacked from impossible angles, disappeared from sensors, and struck with weapons the Cadraxians had believed were centuries beyond Earth's capability. "Send the message to Admiral Carter," Eric ordered. "Phase 1 successful. The Cadraxians are about to learn why you don't underestimate humans." On his view screen, 3 more enemy warships exploded as Earth's hidden fleet revealed itself. The war had only just begun, but already the myth of Cadraxian invincibility was crumbling. General Zoxveric paced the command deck of his flagship, his clawed feet clicking against the metal floor. 20 of his finest warships had been destroyed in the first battle, something that had never happened in his 300-year military career. How? He hissed, staring at the tactical display showing Earth's defenses. How do these primitives fight like this? His science officer, Mex Toral, analyzed data from the failed attack. The humans don't follow any known combat doctrine, General. They fight chaotically. On Earth, Major Daniel Hoffman led his Special Forces team through the dense forests of what had once been northern Canada. 5 Cadraxian landing ships had touched down here, expecting to establish a forward base for their ground invasion. Remember, Daniel whispered to his team of 12 soldiers, they expect us to attack in force with vehicles and heavy weapons. That's why we're using bows and hunting knives. His second-in-command, Sergeant Patricia Kelly, nodded. They'll never expect Stone Age weapons. The Cadraxians had set up their perimeter with sensors designed to detect energy weapons, explosives, and metals. But simple wooden arrows and stone knives. These registered as wildlife to their advanced systems. The alien soldiers never saw the humans coming. By dawn, all 5 landing ships had been captured intact. Daniel contacted Earth Command. Hoffman reporting. We've secured the ships and their technology. Dr. Martinez needs to see this right away. 3,000 miles away, in a hidden laboratory beneath Denver, Dr. Olivia Martinez studied the Cadraxian technology from the captured ships. Her team of scientists worked around the clock, taking apart alien devices and learning their secrets. This propulsion system is fascinating, she said, examining a component from a Cadraxian engine. It's similar to designs we've been working on, but with these modifications, within days, Olivia had reverse-engineered key components of Cadraxian technology. Within weeks, Earth's factories began producing weapons that could match the aliens' own. General Zoxveric received disturbing reports from his intelligence division. Impossible, he muttered, reading that humans had already adapted Cadraxian shield technology. Such advances should take decades, not days. His communication officer interrupted with more bad news. General, we've discovered something alarming. The humans have been intercepting and decoding our transmissions since before first contact. They knew we were coming. In the Orbital Command Center, Admiral Diane Carter revealed Earth's true capabilities to her officers. Hidden shipyards in the asteroid belt activated, revealing vessels far more advanced than anything the Cadraxians had seen from Earth so far. For 50 years, we've kept our most advanced technology secret, she explained. Since finding evidence of the Cadraxian Empire in 2037, we've been preparing for this conflict. Captain Samuel Wright asked the question on everyone's mind. Why hide our strength? Why let them think we were weaker? Admiral Carter smiled grimly. So they would attack us directly instead of simply destroying Earth from a distance. So they would commit their forces where we could defeat them. Meanwhile, Major Hoffman's team discovered something critical in the captured ships. Complete star charts of the Cadraxian Empire, including the locations of their key military installations. Their overconfidence is their weakness, Daniel told his team as they transmitted the data to Earth Command. They never imagined their ships would be captured intact. On his flagship, General Zoxveric received the most shocking news yet. Human ships had been detected moving faster than Cadraxian vessels, approaching Imperial space through routes thought impossible to navigate. What kind of species are they? He whispered, feeling fear for the first time in his long life. The answer came from his oldest advisor. They are humanity, General, and we have made a terrible mistake in provoking them. Captain Lisa Donovan stood on the bridge of the EDS Vanguard, Earth's first true battleship. Built in secret within the hollowed-out asteroid Ceres, it combined human ingenuity with reverse-engineered Cadraxian technology. The ship was nearly twice as fast as anything in the alien fleet. All systems ready, Captain, reported her first officer, Ben Hammond. The fleet is assembled and awaiting your command. Lisa surveyed the tactical display. 50 Earth warships hovered in formation, ready for humanity's first offensive beyond the solar system. Their target, Proxima Centauri, where the Cadraxians had established their forward command base. "Begin the countdown," Lisa ordered. "Make sure all ships activate their stealth systems before we jump." The plan was bold. No species had ever successfully attacked a Cadraxian military installation. Most races fought defensive wars until they were overwhelmed by the Empire's superior numbers. Jump in 3, 2, 1. Execute. The Earth fleet vanished from the solar system, tearing holes in space using drive technology that even the Cadraxians considered theoretical. When they emerged at Proxima Centauri, the alien base was completely unprepared. "They have no shields active," reported the tactical officer. "Their ships are still docked." Lisa nodded. "Commence attack. Remember the plan. Disable, don't destroy unless necessary." On the Cadraxian homeworld, the Imperial Palace was in chaos. Reports flooded in from across the Empire. Human ships appearing without warning, striking key installations, and vanishing before defenses could respond. The Emperor himself, Xav-Zoreth the Eternal, summoned his war council. His scales had dulled with age, but his 4 eyes still burned with intensity. "How are these primitives bypassing our detection networks?" he demanded. "How are they moving so quickly between systems?" No one had answers. The Cadraxians had ruled for so long that the concept of defeat was foreign to them. Back on Earth, Commander Jack Reynolds prepared for the most daring mission yet. His ship, the EDS Phantom, housed the experimental wormhole generator, technology that would allow Earth forces to strike the heart of the Empire without warning. "The calculations are complete," reported Dr. Maya Ellis, the physicist who had developed the technology. "We can create a stable wormhole directly to the Cadraxian military headquarters in the Betelgeuse system." Jack reviewed the mission parameters one last time. "And they'll have no warning." "None," Maya confirmed. "We'll appear inside their defensive perimeter. By the time they realize we're there, we'll have control of their command center." The mission succeeded beyond all expectations. Within hours, the central military communication hub of the Cadraxian Empire fell into human hands. Every Imperial fleet received contradictory orders, creating confusion throughout their forces. Meanwhile, Captain Lisa Donovan's fleet had accomplished something even more significant. They had made contact with the Vexari, a species that had been under Cadraxian rule for centuries. "Your resistance inspires us," the Vexari leader told Lisa through the translator. "We thought the Empire was invincible until we saw your ships destroy their dreadnoughts." "We seek allies, not subjects," Lisa replied. "Join us, and together we can end their tyranny." Word spread rapidly. Throughout the galaxy, subjugated species watched in awe as human forces systematically dismantled Imperial defenses. One by one, they began to rise up against their oppressors. Admiral Diane Carter addressed the United Earth Council, her expression solemn despite their victories. "We've struck significant blows against the Empire. But make no mistake, they still vastly outnumber us. The Cadraxians will not accept defeat easily." President Laura Vega nodded. "What's your assessment, Admiral?" "The Empire has begun to panic," Carter replied. "They've never faced an enemy that could strike their core worlds. They're pulling back their forces, abandoning outer territories to defend their central systems." "Then we've created an opportunity," the president said, "not just for humanity, but for every species suffering under Imperial rule." Across the galaxy, the once mighty Cadraxian Empire began to crumble from within as humanity advanced faster than any species in recorded history. Admiral George Bennett studied the holographic map showing the entire Cadraxian Empire. Red dots indicated Imperial strongholds, while blue showed Earth-controlled territories. Green marked systems where formerly enslaved species had declared independence. "Their supply lines are overextended," George told his officers. They pulled back to defend core worlds, leaving their frontier outposts vulnerable. His plan was bold but simple: simultaneous attacks on 12 key supply hubs connecting Imperial forces. Without fuel and resources, the mighty Cadraxian war machine would grind to a halt. "Coordinate with all allied fleets," George ordered. "We strike in 18 hours." On the Cadraxian throne world of Zaxora Prime, the Imperial Council met in emergency session. The chamber, built to showcase the Empire's might with towering columns of rare metals, now felt like a tomb. "The humans advance on all fronts," reported War Minister Traz Vidlar. "Our forces are in retreat across 17 sectors." Emperor Exabzoreth slammed his clawed fist on the table. "Impossible. They are one species from one world. How can they defeat an empire of 1,000 systems?" The truth was uncomfortable. The Cadraxians had grown complacent over millennia of unchallenged rule. Their tactics hadn't evolved. Their technology had plateaued. When faced with an enemy as adaptable and determined as humanity, their advantages crumbled. Lieutenant Commander Susan Wells understood her mission was nearly suicidal. Disguised as a Cadraxian servant using biomimetic technology, she had infiltrated the Imperial Palace. Her objective: steal the strategic battle plans from the Emperor's private chambers. "Guards approaching," whispered her partner through the neural link. Two of them, moving quickly. Susan pressed herself against the wall, activating her camouflage suit. The guards passed without noticing her. Minutes later, she reached the Emperor's sanctuary and bypassed the security systems. "I found it," she reported, scanning the documents with her hidden device. "Transmitting now." The data she stole proved invaluable. Earth forces now knew exactly where the Cadraxians planned to make their stand. George Bennett's multi-system attacks succeeded beyond expectations. 11 of the 12 supply hubs fell within hours. The 12th took longer, but by day's end, 60% of the Imperial fleet was stranded without fuel or ammunition. On a dozen worlds, newly liberated species tore down statues of Cadraxian emperors. Races that had been bitter enemies under Imperial rule now found common cause against their former masters. The Cadraxian Council splintered. Some advocated immediate surrender, while others demanded that the humans be exterminated at any cost. "We should use the forbidden weapons," argued General Kravzul. "The planet killers. Destroy Earth and break their will." High Priestess Veshmira opposed him. "Those weapons are banned by our own ancient laws. Using them would make us no better than savages. We face extinction." Kravzul shouted. "What good are laws if our civilization perishes?" The debate raged, but the general's faction ultimately prevailed. In desperation, Emperor Exabzoreth authorized the deployment of weapons so terrible they had been sealed away for 10,000 years. Admiral Bennett received the intelligence from Susan Wells, who had escaped the Imperial Palace during the chaos of the council meeting. "Planet killers," George said grimly. "They're preparing to target Earth directly." His officers exchanged worried glances. Humanity had achieved remarkable victories, but these super weapons could end everything in an instant. "Contact Admiral Carter," George ordered. "We need to assemble our forces for an immediate strike on their weapon facilities." Across the galaxy, previously loyal vassal species sensed the Empire's weakness. Systems that had paid tribute for centuries now declared independence. Imperial governors fled or were overthrown. The Cadraxian Empire, which had stood for millennia, was collapsing in months. But in their desperation, they would make one final devastating move that could still change everything. Colonel Frank Harrison watched through reinforced viewports as his team approached the Cadraxian weapons facility orbiting the red giant star Antares. The massive structure gleamed against the stellar backdrop, its surface bristling with defense systems. 6 minutes to insertion point," announced his pilot, Lieutenant Grace Miller. Her hands moved steadily across the controls of their stealth transport. Frank turned to address the 20 Special Forces soldiers in the cabin. They represented Earth's best, the ones chosen for this desperate mission to stop the deployment of the Cadraxian planet killers. "We have one shot at this," Frank said. "Intelligence confirms 3 world destroyer weapons are being prepared for launch. If even one reaches Earth, billions die. The soldiers nodded grimly. They had seen recordings of test firings, entire moons reduced to asteroid fields in seconds. Remember your training, Frank continued. These weapons use quantum resonance technology. Dr. Winter's team has provided each of you with disruptor charges calibrated to neutralize the cores. As they approached the facility, alarm signals blared. Their stealth systems had failed. They've detected us, Grace reported. Defensive batteries activating. Frank made an instant decision. Plan B, full speed, crash trajectory. The transport accelerated toward the facility as Cadraxian weapons fire erupted around them. Grace skillfully evaded most blasts, but a direct hit rocked the ship. Hull breach in cargo section, shouted technical specialist Aaron Cooper. We're losing atmosphere. We'll make it, Frank insisted as the transport hurtled toward the facility's main hangar, braced for impact. The crash landing destroyed 3 Cadraxian ships and killed dozens of alien defenders. Frank's team deployed from the wreckage, engaging the enemy with weapons specifically designed to penetrate Cadraxian armor. Delta Team, secure the control center, Frank ordered through his comm system. Alpha with me to the weapon bay. Back on Earth, Dr. Nicole Winters worked furiously in her laboratory. The tall, focused physicist had been studying Cadraxian technology since the war began. Now the future of humanity depended on her team's work. The countermeasure is ready for testing, reported her assistant, showing her the simulation results. Nicole studied the data. It's not perfect, but it's our best option if Harrison's team fails. Her invention was a planetary shield based on the same quantum principles as the Cadraxian weapons. If it worked, it would diffuse the destructive energy before it could tear Earth apart. In space, Allied forces converged on the Imperial capital. Human ships fought alongside vessels from a dozen formerly subjugated species. Their combined fleets outnumbered the remaining Cadraxian forces. Admiral Diane Carter directed the battle from her flagship. All ships, focus fire on their command vessels. We need to break their coordination. On the weapons facility, Frank's team fought room by room toward the weapon bay. Cadraxian defenders fought ferociously, knowing what was at stake. They've initiated the launch sequence, Aaron reported, accessing a terminal. 12 minutes until the weapons deploy. Frank led his remaining soldiers through the final corridor. Half his team was already dead or wounded. When they reached the massive chamber containing the planet killers, they found themselves facing an elite Cadraxian guard unit. Cover me, Frank ordered, grabbing 3 disruptor charges. I need 2 minutes to place these. The firefight was intense. Human soldiers fell one by one, but they gave Frank the time he needed. He reached the first weapon, placed a charge, then the second. As he approached the third weapon, a Cadraxian blast caught him in the leg. He stumbled but continued forward. 1 minute to launch, warned Aaron over the comm. Frank dragged himself the final distance, blood trailing behind him. With his last strength, he placed the final charge and activated it. Charges set, he gasped into his comm. Tell Earth. We did it. The disruptors activated simultaneously, creating a cascade of energy that neutralized the planet killers. The resulting explosion consumed the facility, taking Frank's team with it. At the Imperial capital, news of the failed weapon launch reached the Cadraxian Emperor. With his final option destroyed, he faced the reality of defeat for the first time in his long life. Open a channel to the human fleet, Emperor Exavzoreth commanded. I wish to discuss terms. The Grand Hall of the Cadraxian Imperial Palace had never hosted a surrender ceremony before. For 10,000 years, the Empire had only known victory. Now, General Rebecca Miller of Earth stood before the ornate golden throne, watching as Emperor Exavzoreth removed his ceremonial war crest. By the ancient laws of the Empire, the Emperor said, his voice carrying across the silent chamber, I acknowledge defeat in honorable combat to the species known as humanity. Rebecca nodded, her expression solemn. She wore a simple military uniform, rather than elaborate ceremonial attire, underscoring the practical nature of human leadership. "The Galactic Federation accepts your surrender," she replied. "As agreed, your people will retain their homeworld and cultural autonomy, but the Empire's military will be dismantled." Across the galaxy, representatives from dozens of formerly subjugated species watched the ceremony through faster-than-light transmissions. For many, it was still difficult to believe that humans, unknown just months before, had accomplished what none had managed in millennia. 2 weeks later, delegates from 87 worlds gathered on the neutral planet Proxima Centauri III to sign the Federation Charter. Captain Paul Edwards, whose diplomatic skills had proven as valuable as his military expertise, addressed the historic assembly. "Today marks the beginning of a new era," Paul said. "Not one of conquest and subjugation, but of cooperation and mutual respect. Each member world retains its sovereignty while contributing to our shared future." The Charter established key principles: mutual defense, free trade, cultural exchange, and prohibition of planetary weapons. Most importantly, it ensured that no single species could dominate others as the Cadraxians had done. Some Cadraxian nobles remained bitter, plotting in secret to restore their former glory, but most recognized the fundamental change that had occurred. Their species would need to earn respect rather than demand it through force. On Earth, crowds celebrated in every city. The holographic displays showed the newly commissioned Federation ships, their designs incorporating technological contributions from multiple species. Humanity had gone from a single-planet civilization to a galactic power in less than a year. Admiral Diane Carter, now appointed as Earth's representative to the Federation Council, stood in her office overlooking the Pacific Ocean. A Cadraxian historian named Vex Toral had requested an interview for the Imperial Archives, seeking to understand how humans had achieved the impossible. "Admiral," the historian began, "my research shows that your forces could have destroyed our homeworld after neutralizing our planet killers. Yet you offered mercy instead. Why?" Diane considered the question carefully. "We didn't fight to create another empire. We fought because you gave us no choice. The difference between us is that we know when to stop." Vex Toral's recording device captured her words. "Some among my people believe this mercy shows weakness." "Then they've learned nothing," Diane replied. "True strength isn't measured by how much you can destroy, but by what you choose to preserve." In the months that followed, humanity's influence spread through cultural exchange rather than military might. Earth music, art, and philosophy became subjects of fascination for species that had known only imperial propaganda for generations. The former Cadraxian territories stabilized under Federation peacekeeping missions. Captain Paul Edwards led efforts to repair planets damaged during the conflict and establish democratic governments where requested. Scientists from a dozen worlds gathered at research centers to share knowledge that had been restricted under imperial rule. Dr. Nicole Winters headed the Federation Science Council, ensuring that technological advances would benefit all member worlds. On the anniversary of First Contact, President Laura Vega addressed not just Earth but the entire Federation. Her message was broadcast in 200 languages across thousands of worlds. 1 year ago, humanity faced extinction at the hands of an empire that could not imagine its own defeat, she said. Today, we stand together with former enemies and new allies alike. We have proven that diversity is not weakness. It is our greatest strength. In the Imperial Palace, now converted to a museum of galactic history, the former Emperor Exav Zoreth studied humans with growing understanding. What had first appeared as chaos, he now recognized as adaptability. What seemed like recklessness was actually courage. "We ruled the stars for 10,000 years, he told his grandson. Yet these humans taught us more about governance in 1 year than we learned in all that time. The lesson of humanity's victory spread across the galaxy. Beware the species that warns you to run.